So today we are analyzing the second grade lesson plan called Burros Tortillas, which is like a southwestern version of the Little Red Hen. And so we're pretending like our demographic is somewhere in the southwestern part of the United States where they have got more culture from Mexico and kind of Latin America. And that would help us interpret these fables and tales in a more cultural aspect. So first, as the teacher, we will go over the vocabulary that might be new to some students, talk about it, use partner talk to be able to kind of interact with the other students. Then we'll do an interactive reading the text, learning the who, what, when, where, why, what's happening in the story. And then we'll let the students talk to each other to find out kind of what's going on in the text, assess their understanding. And lastly, there's a worksheet for them to work on that has them explain first, second, third, finally, what's happening in the order of events.
The standards and objectives of this lesson are ask and answer such questions about the key details of the text, retelling stories including key details and demonstrating understanding of their central message, asking and answering such questions as who, what, when, where, and why, and how to demonstrate the understanding of key details of a text, and recounting stories including fables and folk tales from diverse cultures and determining their central message, lesson, or moral.
Okay, we're gonna just describe a couple cognitive theories that we saw happening within this lesson. So we witnessed some simple scaffolding which happened when she kind of chunked the lesson together. Instead of like going really deep into it and learning how to apply it to ourselves, it was more just like simple, bare bones, super easy, I guess you would say. And then we also saw some memorization happening with like the words and then just the pictures and just memorizing those together rather than being able to apply it and super like retain that information. And then we also just like the lower psychological functions that we saw were fill in the blanks. At the bottom of the page, it just would kind of tell you to just describe the story, and it would be like, first this happened, and then you describe it, then, and then, and then. So it was just more of a fill in the blank situation. And so Hallie is going to describe a higher level of psychological functioning to the lesson plan.
Okay, so for the changes that we're making in the lesson, before the interactive reading, we're going to use the vocab words like wonderful, and in Spanish it's maravilloso, and they're going to use it in context of themselves. So like the tree is wonderful, or my school is wonderful, or my mom is wonderful. And that way they can understand the vocab word in a personal context. And then after we read the story together, and some of the stories in Spanish and English, after we read the story together, they're gonna work on the worksheet, but we changed it a little, so they'll fill it out like first, next, and finally with the new vocab words describing the pictures. But then in the second part, they're going to draw a picture of a vocab word in the context of themselves. So if they want to say like the school is wonderful, they're going to draw a school with it being wonderful, like with stars around it or something. And that's just more abstract, where they can apply the vocab word to their daily lives.